Hi, I'm Tim. Join me in this video as we go through the QIDI 580 Sport Flyer 4-channel RC model airplane. Let's get to it. As a reminder, if you'd like to buy one of these little aircraft, there is a purchase link in the description. Also, if you want to jump ahead to a different section, there are chapters in the timeline. This is the QIDI 580 Sport RC aircraft. It's a very nice, essentially ready-to-fly airplane. It was sent to me for a review. It is 4 channels with ailerons, elevator, rudder, and of course throttle. We'll do an unboxing discussion of this. It takes less than 5 minutes to assemble. You just screw a few things together. The only tricky part is plugging the wing ailerons into the motherboard of the fuselage. There's 2 things you have to plug in, the ailerons and the lights. Not too hard. The directions do a pretty good job on that. But let's go ahead and take a look at this and go through step by step and eventually take it for a test flight. So this is the QIDI 580. It's really modeled off a Cirrus aircraft SR22 model. The Cirrus aircraft are really quite amazing. They're made in the US in Minnesota. The first ones came out in 2001. It evolved up to the SR22. It has a big engine. It's about a 310 horsepower engine, which is a lot of power for a 4-place aircraft like this, all glass cockpits. And from 2003 until today, it's been the #1 selling general aviation aircraft every year since 2003. So let's take a little bit closer look at this remarkable aircraft. Then we'll go into details of the model. The Cirrus SR22 really is a very attractive aircraft. Here's an air show demonstration of it. Coming in on final, you can see the pilot in the front, nice view over the runway, and here's another view of the aircraft on the ramp. It's one of the early general aviation aircraft to come with a complete glass cockpit. You can see that this is quite a cockpit. Do take some instruction before your first flights. Let's take a quick look at the website for this airplane. There is a link in the description if you want to get here. QIDI 580 is a good search term. A very complete website, a ton of graphics. Don't think I've ever seen quite this many graphics before. Take your time going through it. All the various features are included with the gyros, takeoff assist, intelligent time alert, and so forth, all listed on the listed on the website for this aircraft. With these ready-to-fly model airplanes, I always like to take a look at the box and see what it tells us. In this case, it's a nice box. It's a good presentation. It does not give us too much information, except it has several pictures of the airplane, the word Pegasus, which doesn't appear anywhere on the website or anything like that, 2 different color schemes, and some symbology for the different things you can do that just, I don't really know what it is. But this is the box. Normally with these things, I'll do an unboxing, but as the airplane comes almost completely assembled, let's take a quick look now of the unboxing, which you get when you take the contents out of this box. This is the styrofoam packing pulled out of the box. Everything's right here. Here's the fuselage, the landing gear, the wings on top with the aileron servo installed, and underneath is the transmitter. And mine came with 2 in-flight batteries, one in the airplane, the other in the little parts package. Now, the one thing to take a little bit of study is you're going to have to plug the 2 wires from the wing, one for the aileron control, the other for the lights, into the fuselage motherboard, and I have some more detail on how to do this. Again, extra prop, the 2 batteries, 1,000 milliamp batteries, and we're all set for the airplane. The instruction manual is really pretty good. They've made an effort for the pictures, the diagrams. Let's take a look inside that to see some of what it can provide for instruction on this aircraft. The instruction manual is quite good. A good illustration, I think, covers most of the points. And here's an overview of what comes in the box with the engine compartments, the ailerons, and so forth. Some details of the assembly instructions. Again, plugging in that wing. We'll go into a little bit more detail here. Here's the detail of that motherboard with the elevator, aileron sockets, and the lights. And a good discussion of the transmitter with the important switch on the left for stability. This is what you get inside the box. You saw earlier, it comes pretty much ready to fly. Here's a fuselage. The prop is already put on with a screw-on front, which I like a lot. It's a wider aircraft in line with the SR22. You can see the electronics in here. There is a screw that you can remove to look at the two little servos in the tail. It is a full 4-channel with elevator, rudder, aileron, and throttle. Mine came with two single-cell 1,000 milliamp batteries right here. So that is there. And the front hatch has some click-on plastic holders with a tab at back. Let me see if I can get this off okay. The plane is EPP foam, which is really quite strong foam. And there's the clips that hold it on, the battery, the very nice brushless motor here, and the battery just slips right inside there, so it should be all set for the weight and balance of the aircraft. As I mentioned, it is an EPP foam. It's not a super smooth foam, but it's a very tough foam. I don't think you're going to do too much to damage this aircraft when you're flying it. This is the wing. It is a pretty high-performance sport aircraft. You can see the long, thin wing, the aileron servo, nice big ailerons here with the servo. I think that'll work out fine. And the two wires here, one is for the built-in lights. You can see the wire, the spar and the lights in the tail. And there's other lights here in the bottom and in the front for the airplane. I kind of like the lights. At least you know there's power to the aircraft. That's just another alert. The landing gear is here, again with the wheel pans, kind of like that. They did a good job with that. The wheel pans can always be tricky because they can slip back and forth, but I think that'll make it look nice. And this is the wheel. An accessory kit with a charger, screwdriver, various tools. And of course the transmitter is located here. You'll have to supply your own batteries to do that. So these are the contents. Give me a moment. I'll put everything together. We'll see what it looks like all together. So take some time to study this part of the diagram where the ailerons go on, matching the ground and the signal wires, and then the lights. Remember, the ailerons have 3 colors because it needs a control signal. The lights just have 2 colors. You can see where they plug in here. Here's another view of that motherboard. You can see it's plugged in, the lights on the right and the aileron, the brown, red, and yellow on the upper left. And the wing just screws in place with 1 screw. And here's another steadier picture of the lights to the right with a white wire, multicolored one, ailerons to the left. This is a completed model. As you saw in the demonstration, you simply screw in the wing with 1 screw. The landing gear inserts into slots, and that's basically it. The one thing I do want to point out, you'll notice that there is a main landing gear here and a tail wheel. The Cirrus SR22 that's kind of modeled after, it does not have a tail wheel. Instead, it has a nose gear. I think it would look a little bit more convincing with a nose gear, but the designers elected not to do that, and that's okay. That's fine. I think there is an argument to be made that you could remove this tail wheel if you want to. It's not a steerable tail wheel. It looks kind of big. The model would look okay. You just have to scrape a little bit here. I may remove it. I'm not quite sure. So the model's total weight with the battery is 3.8 ounces. That's a nice light weight for something like this. The battery is this little 1,000 milliamp, 3.7 volt battery. This is a pretty big battery for a plane like this. I think it'll work out fine. Let's just take a look. And by the way, this is the transmitter. We'll power it up here in a second. Just a standard transmitter with 4 channels, trim switches. They have the little gyro control switch here. The directions just aren't clear on it. It's common with these aircraft. It does call the forward position the novice 6G mode. That usually means it's good for beginners flights. It has a gyro assist and minimum controls. I think my first flight will be on this. You just have to experiment with this to get different modes of flight. Then they have this function key that theoretically does loops and stuff like that when you push it. We may or may not play around with that. So let's go ahead and take a look. The one kind of trick on the cowl here is it comes with this included tool that I've never really seen before. But the cowl has 2 little plastic snaps and then just a tongue and groove fit. It turns out that you put this in here and you twist it, and that very nicely opens up the plastic so the cowl pops off. Again, you can see the nice little brushless motor, direct drive right there, and then the battery. So give me a moment, let me plug it in. We'll do a power on check. So I plugged in the lipo battery. It's a wide fuselage, which I like a lot. For once, there's plenty of room inside the battery compartment for the battery. And you can see the two little plastic things. So I'll just simply slide this on with the little insert there. And then it clicks right in place. So that's good. Notice the lights here, and the light here. I think they look kind of cute. A nice thing about it, you know the plane's powered up, and that's just a tone to let you know that it is powered up, nothing's happened. So let's take a look at the controls. We'll start with the elevator. Not much, but I think that's designed in. The rudder and then the ailerons are freed in the proper direction. Notice with the throttle as a safety thing, when we move this up, nothing's going to happen. We have to move the throttle up. We'll hear a beep to arm it. As we bring it down, then the throttle works. So let's do that now. Hold on to the aircraft. We move it up. There's the beep. We move it down. And now it's armed. It's just a very smooth motor. I think I like it a lot. I think it's going to have plenty of power. And it's just, that's nice there. So this is the model. You can hear the chatter of the gyro system. You see when the nose goes down, the elevator goes up to try to right it. Same with the bank. See how the ailerons automatically move as the gyros try to keep it righted. What this means is when you're flying, again, it's just powers on. When you're flying, it's going to do a pretty good job dealing with the wind just to make a smoother flying model. I think that's a good thing. And so that's all built in. The center of gravity is about right there for a balance. Again, there's not much you can do because it comes like that out of the factory. And other than that, I think everything is in pretty good shape. Just again, a reminder, the EPP foam is not a super smooth finish, but it looks good. And I think it's a tough, resilient foam. Should be good for this model. So I think everything is in order. I'm satisfied with the airplane, looks good. We'll just wait for a good day at the RC field and take it for a test flight. We are out at the field. Here is the plane assembled on the workbench. Take a look at the weather conditions. Nice light wind, sunny skies, good day for a test flight. The airplane is plugged in. We'll take a look at the elevators, the rudder, the ailerons, and then we'll arm the throttle just to make sure that works. Everything's all set for our first flight. We'll walk out to the flight line, put it down. We'll try for the first takeoff from the ground. The minute you apply power, it's a light aircraft, plenty of power, it just jumps into the air. Really quite smooth flyer. I'm happy with the way it's handling. I'll discuss it in more detail later on, but there is some adverse yaw. Here's the second takeoff. Again, just like before, track straight down. Good control. The gyros are working. Just make sure you use coordinated controls with rudder and aileron to do the turns. Ailerons alone, there is a little bit of adverse yaw. We're back from the field, and you can see for the test flights, the plane flies wonderfully. I'm very happy with its performance. It's got plenty of power, it's quiet, very light on the controls, responsive. You got to fly it all the time. It's not a trainer, I would say, but it is a well-performing airplane. You saw that all the takeoffs were rise off of ground, takeoffs from the runway. The minute the thing starts tracking, it just lifts off and it starts flying, and that's all good. Now, the two things I want to point out that will help you in your initial flights are as follows. The first is on the transmitter. You have this switch up here that is stages of control and gyros. The forward is a beginner, this is intermediate, and the outer one is what they call gyro auxiliary mode. We just have more control. I found my first flight was in the novice 6G mode. I didn't have quite enough control authority in that mode. The middle one, which was the inverted flight mode, I don't know why they come up with these terms, was kind of a combination between full control and the trainers, and the gyro auxiliary mode, or the expert mode, it was too much control. I was a little bit over controlling. So the medium control is going to be best for your flights. The other thing that I found out with this plane is it's subject to what is called adverse yaw. I have a video on adverse yaw. What adverse yaw is, and it can happen with any airplane, when the ailerons move to bank the aircraft, let's say you're going to do it bank to the left. This aileron goes down, this aileron goes up. When this aileron goes down, it creates more lift because it changes the shape of the airfoil, but it also creates more drag. When you have a fairly large aileron like this, it almost looks like a flap, but it's an aileron just because it's convenient for having the servos close in. When that aileron goes down to cause the wing to lift, the drag actually makes the airplane turn opposite. When the aileron is down, you want to turn to the left, but the drag will actually cause the airplane to turn to the right. That's adverse yaw. The way you counter the adverse yaw is very simple. You simply add rudder in the direction of the turn. So if you want to bank to the left, this aileron goes down, the wing goes up. As the nose does the adverse yaw, when you add left rudder, it puts it into a turn. That's just the way airplanes are built. You don't know about adverse yaw until you actually test fly the airplane. Some of the early World War I biplanes where you would have 4 ailerons on the upper and lower wings, there'd be so much adverse yaw, you could actually turn the airplane around the opposite direction with that, if you just wanted to demonstrate that without the rudder. But just use the rudder. We call that a coordinated turn. The airplane will fly fine. It's just something you need to keep in mind. The other thing I would point out, with this fairly long wing, it's a sporty aircraft. It's not a slow flyer. Do keep your speed up. I always have a bad habit of slowing down for the landings. It just kind of drops out of the sky. Keep your speed up, fly it onto the runway, and I think you'll be satisfied with this little airplane.